How we doing out there, everybody? What do we got going on today? Let's see, trying to pull this up. How you guys doing? How many of you guys started Kenyon Drake on Thursday? Ready for some of this injury news to come through, see who's going to be playing, who's not. Jacksonville getting shut out right after it was announced that Minshew has a chance to continue starting. Getting shut out's not going to help him there. When will we get Patrick Mahomes back? Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. A lot of questionable guys. Thank you, thank you. All right. So, one of the questions we've got now is T.Y. Hilton out for 3 to 4 weeks. Where's that production going to come from with the Colts? I have a hard time figuring out of the wide receivers. Obviously, Pascal has played decent this year. Chester Rogers involved there in the passing game. Paris Campbell probably going to be more involved there in the passing game. I think that the production's going to come more through the tight ends. Ebron and Doyle, I trust them more than I trust any of the receivers. Makes it really tough, though. Obviously, with Matt Moore in there, all the receivers are downgraded for the Chiefs. Not sure. Mahomes practiced with the second unit this week. But it looks like Matt Moore's going to start. We'll have to wait for that. Thielen's a game-time decision. Obviously, without Thielen, Stephon Diggs is just a monster. Isaiah says, I need to decide between Lamar Jackson versus the Patriots or Cousins versus the Chiefs. That's a tough one. Obviously, the Patriots defense has just been amazing so far. Jackson can turn the ball over. I just think his rushing upside is too high to put on the bench. Um, if Kansas City can't stop Dalvin Cook, then Cousins could, only throw for one touchdown, and then it makes it tough. So uh, there's downsides with both. There's upside with both, but I think I go with the guy with the 100-yard rushing upside with Lamar Jackson. And if he punches one in on the ground, you're probably going to be feeling pretty good. I know a lot of people are looking at Chris Herndon's game Ryan Griffin's game last week, and then Chris Herndon's questionable, and they're wanting to play Ryan Griffin. I don't think that that's something that you got to do unless you're really struggling at tight end. Don't play into that last week production. Ryan Griffin's not that good. Deshaun Jackson, maybe he's back. They did say that he will not be 100% at all this season, so I don't know that I'm starting him if he plays. Looking at some of these other guys, just question marks. Obviously, Delaney Walker's out. We know Jonnu does pretty good with him out. Jonnu Smith, that is. Dwayne Haskins making the start for Washington, makes about all their receivers. Terry McLaurin's, you can't start any of those guys against the Bills. All right, what questions we got out there? I know people got questions. We got Curtis Samuel questionable. If he doesn't play, DJ Moore's real juicy. Yeah, I think that anytime I see a guy making his first NFL start, I'm willing to throw that defense against him because no matter what, no matter how bad a defense has been playing, they are an NFL defense, and if that quarterback's not very good, the turnovers can be there. You get a pick six out of them, you're feeling pretty good. I can't tell you why they are or not throwing to one or another guys. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Hopkins is a monster too. I haven't watched any of the game. I see it's 9-0. I'm assuming that's just 3 field goals. No touchdowns. Oh no, they did. They must have missed a PAT. Holy crap. Are they actually getting Duke Johnson involved? 3 receptions for 40 yards. What? Hopkins, only 2 targets. Well, the team the player with the most, Duke Johnson and Kenny Stills, 3 each. Darren Fells just keeps finding the end zone. This dude he's like the epitome of like not very good, but just finding the end zone right now. 6'7" though, that'll do it for you. Well, they're still getting him involved. He just hasn't. I mean, he hasn't been this involved in a half all season. So, and he hasn't been splitting carries either, which he's doing today. Not very well. Hopkins has a rush too. I mean, at some point they have to realize like Hyde's just a guy. I don't think Scary Terry's playable today. I mean, you've got Haskins going up against Buffalo, which I don't like right off the bat. In Buffalo, which makes it even worse. I just don't think I can go there. I don't think I can go there with any of the Washington players. I just think they're all throw them out the window. What's your guys' favorite game for today? Which one you looking forward to watching? I mean, I'm looking forward to watching my team lose again, probably. So that's awesome. I think the most interesting game, that Tampa Bay Seattle game, is really interesting. That'll be fun to watch. Oh yeah, Ingram against the Pats. See, I think Ingram could be fine against the Pats. I don't think their rush defense is as good as it looked early. Um, when they played all those bad teams, I don't think it's as good as it looked. But still tough. They're not letting people get in the end zone. Um, excuse me. Yeah, the Baltimore New England game is definitely a good one. Nick wants to know if Stephon Diggs is a good play. Absolutely, against Kansas City. If Thielen's out, then he's basically their passing game, with a little bit worked into the tight ends and whoever else. They're not going to throw to Laquan Treadwell a lot, so he'll get his targets. He'll probably get 12 targets today if Thielen's out. Yeah, I like the Ravens versus Patriots too. That one's real interesting. Jacksonville on the board late in the second quarter with a field goal. It's funny. Two teams that are so bad that it makes it interesting for me, especially from a fantasy production standpoint. The Miami and New York Jets game, both of their defenses are so bad. One combined win, 1-13 combined, and I'm interested in seeing how that game plays out. That could be a shootout simply because. Hold on, I got somebody trying to trade for Zeke. I sent the. I don't remember what I was saying. But, the Miami Jets game. I'm just wondering if it'll be a shootout because they're both so bad at defense. Also, is Devontae Adams going to play for Green Bay? I'm not sure what, let's see if this screen's working here. I'm not sure if I'm willing to go to Rudolph. Because there are three guys right there at 3,000, 3,100, at least three guys. What is Rudolph? Yeah, I'm not willing to pay for Rudolph when I can get Brait, Doyle, or Fant. Even Goddard, all right here. I know Irv Smith got a bunch of targets. I mean, yeah, I just don't know that. Like, I'd rather go down to Irv Smith at 2,700, save that 600, or stick with one of these guys that's going to get more work. You know, obviously Brait if he plays. Doyle might be a big benefactor of T.Y. Hilton being out. Already getting like 5 targets a game. That's my biggest decision today. Most of my tight end play comes from this group right here. I kind of want to pick one and just ride it out all the way. Okay, where'd we go? Currently playing McLaurin over Lazard, and it feels dirty this week. Yeah, Jeremy, this is the 3rd time McLaurin's come up. I don't like the play at all. With them playing Buffalo, Haskins' first start, I just don't know, man. But Lazard, if Adams plays, then I probably do it just because McLaurin will probably see more targets. I don't even know what Lazard's going to see without Adams, let alone with him. So all 4 of those guys in that 3,000 range are good. Standard flex, Stephon Diggs or Royce Freeman. If Thielen's out, it's 100% Diggs. I'm probably 100% Diggs anyway, Shelton. I just don't like that split backfield in Denver and Cleveland facing a rookie, or not a rookie, but a first-time starter. Guy I've seen his first action. Paul, he was talking about regular fantasy. Olabisi Johnson. Yeah, there's a lot of... One thing I read said Laquan Treadwell gets a bump. If I'm not, I have no idea what goes on there, really, honestly. I would rather just start Diggs and Cook and nobody else. I love what you can do in DFS today. I have a lineup that has McCaffrey, Cook, and Jones in it. And I don't mind the rest of the plays in it either. Like, there's a lot you can do in DFS today. Oh, I do. I definitely agree. Buffalo is probably going to whoop them. What's the tourney play, Jimmy? Are you talking about Olabisi Johnson as a tournament play? I mean, I just don't think you have to go that thin. I mean, I guess he got 8 targets 2 weeks ago. But at 4,000, at 4,000, he didn't even 3X with 8 targets and a touchdown. Or 4X, I mean, obviously. Math's hard. It's early. Yeah, I just don't know that I can go that thin. Buffalo and Survivor, that's a good one. I would have liked to use Cleveland this week against Denver. But it is in Denver, and Cleveland has sucked. Ingram or Singletary? Jason, the tough part is Singletary. I mean, if we look at Singletary's touches, right? We can just look. Only 3, 7, 6, 4. Receptions, 4. Went 2 games without having a reception. 9, 6, 7, and 9. Or 7. So what? 9 and once, and then, it's his touches are too sporadic. Obviously, there's weeks in between there, but like he's so much better than Gore, and they're not giving him the touches. They're just giving him the Gore. So I have to go with Ingram, just because we know we're going to. Oh, I don't have the right slate up. Let me go back. Let's go ahead and do Sunday, Monday. Like, we know he's going to get 15 plus. 13, 15, 21, 13. At least we know he's going to be up around that 15 mark. And I think in a game like this, it could be even more. And he could be more involved in the passing game with the Patriots pass rush. So I'm going to Ingram over Singletary for sure. Yeah, I do agree. He was hurt, and they are warming him up. But are you willing to bet? I would rather lose playing a guy that I'm fairly certain is going to get around 15 touches than a guy that's could get 6. I'm ready for these inactives to come in. Yeah, well, we're balancing DFS plays. If you're talking about DFS, like, I don't think he's a bad play, because obviously, if he gets those touches, you can set yourself apart from the field. If he doesn't, then we lose more in DFS than we don't. So, you're looking for that separator. So that's good. If you're talking about just a regular fantasy game, head to head. Like, I don't think it's worth the risk to not play a guy that you know is going to get the touches. Not that Ingram can't get shut down. Not that Singletary can't blow up on 4 touches. But what are you trying to do? You trying to look for that home run play, or you trying to look for that guy that can hit you a single or a double? I suppose, I still don't even know if the ceiling play is the right one. Ingram can find the end zone 3 times. Now it's the Patriots and it's not as likely, but if you really need a home run, if you really think your team's behind, then maybe Singletary is the play against Washington. Maybe it's the day that they let him come out. I just don't know. What other questions you guys got? I'm looking for some more storylines that we can talk about, but let's see. Josh Gordon to Seattle. That intrigues me. Steelers just release Moncrief. Man, I got so much grief this offseason that Moncrief was good and I was saying he was bad. Did I touch on the bets when you went and looked? What do you, I'm not sure what you're referring to Paul. You might have to refresh my memory on that one. Oh, when I was asking like what games you liked. I was talking purely from a fantasy like and watching standpoint, um not who you liked. I don't even know the spreads on the games, so I don't know if you're talking straight up or money line or spread or whatever you're talking in your picks. Are you saying the parlay Philly, Indy, Jets, and Buffalo? Also, Jeffrey Epstein didn't hang himself. Okay, Redskins tight end Sprinkle fined more than $84,000. I didn't even know this dude made $84,000. 2 game checks, more than 2 game checks, for an unnecessary roughness in a Week 8 loss. Dude only makes $645,000 a year, and he got fined $84,231. His weekly check is $37,000. Wow. Mahomes is out. Okay. Pick 2 running backs in a standard league. Melvin Gordon versus Packers. Eckler versus Packers. Chris Carson versus the Buccaneers. Sony Michel versus the Ravens. I'm probably going Chris Carson because he's going to get volume. I don't love the matchup, but that's a dude that's going to get 25 touches. And then I probably go. Then it comes down to Melvin Gordon or Sony Michel, and I just think that the Patriots have more touchdown upside, so I probably go Michel. In a standard league, you can't go Eckler, right? Eckler makes all his money through the air. I don't know that I'd go Eckler. I'd almost rather. I don't even like Gordon, but I'd rather go Gordon in a standard league against the Packers, who have struggled against the run. Carson's a must for sure. I probably go Sony versus the Ravens. The Ravens' rush defense isn't as tough as everybody thinks. Yeah, Paul, not PPR. So I go Michelle and Carson. That's what I do. Haven't been confirmed yet on Devontae Adams, Jason. We haven't got confirmation. I'm just seeing a message here that says source says Mahomes will not play. And then it sucks because the Packers got moved from 1 to 4, so it's going to be later before that news comes out. This is an interesting one. Should I play Tyrell Williams versus the Lions or John Brown versus the Redskins? I'd probably go John Brown. He is, I honestly don't think either of these guys. I'm going to have to look at that Tyrell Williams here. But I'm guessing he's about in the same kind of line. Let me just go ahead and we'll go back to DraftKings here. Okay, Tyrell Williams has scored a touchdown in every game with Raiders. Hasn't scored less than 11.9 points in his 5 games. Let me just make sure, because obviously this gives bonuses. Yeah, he only had the bonus in 1 game, but he scored a touchdown in every one of them. The problem is Darius Slay, right? Darius Slay playing. Darius, yeah, he's expected to play. So Darius Slay can shut him down. John Brown is not much different. Except for he's had at least 5 catches in all but 1 game. He had 1 game at 4. Every other one has been 5. He's been about as consistent as you can be. He scored 9.5. Every other game has been at least 10. I probably go John Brown because I'd rather face Norman than Slay. Are you saying I look like The Undertaker? Jason, they just got them into more of a primetime game. They have all those flex games to get good games into the good spots, so people aren't watching, Miami and the Jets when there's only like 3 games on. I don't think that the Bills' defense is a bad play at all. I have a hard time sitting the Patriots' defense. Lamar Jackson will still turn the ball over. I agree, Paul, but I like showing people my process of how I'm deciding between those 2 guys when they're so close, because they're basically the identical guy, downfield threats that people didn't really like going into the season, but have been 2 of the most consistent receivers when they've been on the field. I mean, it's pretty amazing that John Brown and Tyrell Williams, with 12 combined games, have 1 combined score under 10, and it's at 9.5. And you've got guys like OBJ and Hopkins that have games that have like killed your week. I mean, Raymond, for me, that depends on what other options you have. It all comes down to the other options. Tyrell's still going to be involved. Slay could shut him down. It could be his worst week of the season. But right now he's playing, and he's playing well. Like, I'm not going to sit him for, Allen Hurns because he scored a touchdown last week. ...2018 championship teams don't care if they're 3-5 or 4-4 this year. If I won the championship last year, I'm fine with going 0-13 this year. I don't care. I've got the money. Money in the bank. if your league mate said, "Listen, we'll give you the championship this year, but next year you can't win a game," are you going to be like, "No, I don't want the championship"? That's a good poll question. I want to know. No, it has been an odd, inconsistent year, but that, I mean, for one, I think that Tyrell Williams and John Brown have been undervalued just in general. John Brown, the only time he hasn't, I mean, obviously he had problems staying on the field, but he hasn't had that problem the last 2 years. The only time that he has not been a threat when on the field is with Lamar Jackson and whoever the shitty quarterbacks were in Arizona for the last like year and a half he was there. But nobody was a threat with those guys, so Tyrell Williams, when he's been the number one, I mean, this was a 10 touchdown, 1,000-yard receiver with the Chargers with no Keenan Allen. Like, he's shown that he can do it, and he's just showing that he can with Carr. I mean, imagine if he actually had a good quarterback. And I just think, and I said all off season, I think that Josh Allen and John Brown are like the perfect combo. I thought they were a match made in heaven. Got about 23 minutes here when our 1 p.m. inactives will come out. Then we'll know on a lot of these guys. I'm still wondering because it's the one thing I haven't been able to figure out. Who's the benefactor in Indianapolis? I'm not convinced that it's Zach Pascal. Do they lean on the run more? Is it the tight ends that step up? That's one I can't figure out. Okay, one thing I do need to do. See, I think that it's Doyle because Doyle's on the field more. Ebron's obviously more of a red zone threat. Like, Hilton and him were really the red zone threats. So I think Doyle's volume could go up. I don't know that Ebron's volume goes up, though his red zone presence is much more needed. That could be it too. That's what I'm having a hard time figuring out though. Paris and uh, Chester Rogers and Pascal and does Pascal get hurt because now he's facing the number one cornerback? Like, it is a big deal. Um, that situation's a mess, man. Um, third quarter starting. Yeah, I liked Paris strictly because of Andrew Luck. Brissett has obviously been better than I anticipated. I didn't think he was going to be bad, but he's been better than I anticipated. Um, so that one's up in the air for me with Paris Campbell. Just not sure. Keelan Cole finding some life, man. What, a touchdown in 2 straight weeks? Where is. I just want the box score. Yeah, I think that's one thing that a lot of people get mixed up on, right? Like, right now, you can be out of the playoff picture, but your team could be set up for selling, or you could be in a position for a uh, playoff spot where your team should probably really be selling some options. But now you're stuck in that playoff run, and if you get lucky, you're in a good spot. So it's a rough thing to figure out for some people, but you really got to look and see. Let's see, Keelan Cole, leading receiver, 3 for 36, my boy. Duke Johnson, 4 for 57 over there. What did you guys think of Kenyon Drake Thursday night? Did he not look like a monster or what? Dude, I've always been a Keelan Cole guy, and it just sucks because Jaguars always have like 800 receivers. I just wish he would get out of there. 3 for 36, man. I'll take it. The more involved he gets, then the better chance he's got to breaking out. Keelan Cole has never cost very much money. Dude, Paul, you are completely underselling how good Kenyon Drake looked the other night. If that's your take, you must not have watched the game. Like, Kenyon Drake was running the ball very well. He didn't even make his money in the passing game. Oh man, Trevor Lawrence looks real good. Looks like he's going to translate to the NFL. That's a good flip. Flipping him for Devontae Adams. Paul with a hot take, shocking. No, I just if that's the take you get from watching Kenyon Drake the other night versus San Francisco, like you just I don't think you could have watched it and got that take. Obviously I have been a Kenyon Drake guy, but he looked like an explosive running back who didn't get any of that production through the air really. Busting off 10, 11-yard runs consistently against who was supposed to be the best, rushing defense. Jurassic Scoop. I wish I knew who you were. Seems like a popular question. Lamar Jackson or Kirk Cousins? Lamar Jackson or somebody else? That floor, that upside with the rushing is just too high for me. I'm playing Lamar Jackson in most spots. I mean, Armstead had 1 for 31 and 1 for 1 in the passing game, so not getting a lot of action, so I'm just waiting for this news to come in around 11:30, and then I'll get that out to you guys. Talk about the ramifications of it if we get any surprise sits or anything like that. What kind of game should I expect from Juju Smith versus the Colts today? The Colts have a real pass funnel offense because they play in a zone a lot. So this could be a game where he gets a high volume. They don't get pushed down the field very often. So I don't know that he'll break long passing plays, but the volume should be there. And the Colts will give up some yards, just not on big plays typically. So I like Juju today. Paul says, I just bring up the forgotten guys that have not been producing. That's my job here. Well, I did that with Keelan Cole, and then you had some smart-ass remark. When Keelan Cole's actually had a touchdown each of the last 2 games. I'm pretty sure it was the last 2 games, or 2 out of the last 3, one of the 2. And he's cheaper than Armstead. They did not score on that drive, huh? I meant the hit he took that he got lit up. Who got lit up? I'm not watching the game because I'm on here with you guys. So if it happened in this game, or if I'm missing something else, I don't know. Oh, botch snap on the field. Well, I was gonna say I'm watching the play-by-play thing here. It looked like or not the play-by-play, but just the marker when I'm looking at the box score. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not watching the game, so I didn't know what you were referring to there. The numbers are almost identical between Deshaun Watson and Gardner Minshew. Minshew just does not have the touchdown pass. Oh, yeah, so Lambo has a reception, huh? Josh Lambo had a reception? Who's over there on YouTube? You guys are quiet. Drop some questions in here. We will have some inactives dropping in the next few minutes here, so that'll be good. Hey, it's on the scoreboard. That's what counts for fantasy. So he knows that I have Fells in a spot where my tight ends are desperate for production. It's just frustrating that Fells is the one with the touchdowns when Akins is much more athletic. But when you're 6'7", you're a red zone threat. You were wondering why they're not throwing the DeAndre Hopkins. Well, that's changed, even though he's only getting like 3.5 yards per catch. Just waiting for these inactives. Oops. Looks like Houston might be going down the score here. Yeah, I wasn't big on Waring, but you could argue that, or you could argue that they're going to have this. I don't know all the contract situations, so we're taking that out. But are they going to have a three-headed monster? Like, it's just, I want Hopkins getting those touchdowns, not the tight ends. But you're right, they are definitely being productive. Also, when you pass the ball to Duke Johnson, you move the chains. Let's see, what game stacks do we like today? I need to build a single game lineup or a single entry lineup. And I haven't decided how I want to go. Here's a question for you guys. I just traded Ezekiel Elliott for Devontae Adams and 2 early 2020 second rounders. What say you, chat? Do you like that deal? Do you hate that deal? Tell me. See, and GPP, I'm going Darnold Anderson over Crowder. Crowder's ceiling's just not big enough for me in the GPP. I mean, it's not bad, but I would rather go with Anderson, who could beat them deep twice. What say you, chat? Good move. You're a Packers fan, so can we hear from a non-Packer? I traded Ezekiel Elliott, PPR, got Devontae Adams, and 2 early 2020 second round picks. I will say that my running backs are horrible in that league, but I like the move. Yeah, I have wide receivers I'm going to be able to move, hopefully get younger running backs. So I don't mind it, personally. See, I liked Crowder. And he got this. This was good. But look at this. 9 targets. 16 points. I just don't know where the ceiling is at for him. Unless he gets this. Which is crazy. But he didn't even hit 100 yards. He had 14 catches. Didn't even hit 100 yards. Didn't even get you the bonus there. Five catches, 26. This is all. I mean, I will say that outside of week 1, like, all this junk is meaningless. This game's meaningless because Darnold admitted to seeing ghosts. But all that Falk time we got is meaningless. Like, these stats mean nothing to me with Falk and all that crap. For any of the guys. For him or Crowder, really. But, I'm looking for this game out of Robbie for 4,000. That's what we're looking for. I just think it's more likely that he does this than Crowder does that. I don't think we see a 92-yard touchdown out of Crowder ever. But I think that you could even pair him with Bell. You could even do Darnold Bell. You could do Darnold Bell Anderson. Like, when we look at Bell's stats, like, he was getting 19, 20, 15, 24. Like, why is he not getting these types of looks anymore is the big question. Why is he not over 20? He should be. And this is a game he should be. I like him for his price. Pricing's a little bit different here because I'm playing a normal slate. Pricing's a little different. 10 games. Bell 7,700 in that slate. But I think a lot of people are going to stay away from him at 7,700. I do think you can differentiate if you can either get both of these guys in or avoid both of them and do the Bells, Chubbs, Jones, even Jacobs if you like him. Oh, no, I agree, Paul. I was just giving you a hard time. Um, I actually had my options in that trade. I could pick Adams, Evans, then some other guys that didn't fit. Hill was one of them. Tyreek was one of them, but I went with Adams. Out of those three were really my main options. But Galladay I could have picked. I would have needed more with Galladay though. No, I don't disagree with you there. I think Crowder could definitely be heavily involved, but I just think he needs that 12 to 14 catch day to be in that spot with a touchdown to get you that same return as Anderson can get you on 4 catches. I think Crowder needs 3 times as many catches as Robbie, almost. The other stack I like, but you have to pay down on uh you have to pay down on receivers or on running backs is if you go with Stafford, Galladay, Jones, and then bring it back with Waller. Like I don't mind that. Um, but you've only got 4,600 a defense. Like I don't mind even going all the way down to Washington. Don't love Washington's defense, but we know Josh Allen will just heave some up. He'll fumble it. So he'll turn it over, giving them a chance at 1,800. Like it's pure punt, but you could find worse punts against. I like to target quarterbacks that turn the ball over. We know Josh Allen will. Um, but yeah, you've got to go a little bit cheaper on your other spots here to make that work. But I like that stack for sure. Let's see. It's 11:30. Paul, it does depend on the size of the GPP. I will say that. If it's a mass, if it's a large field, then I just don't think Crowder wins you a GPP. If you're talking about like 100 man or maybe 1,000 guys, then Crowder might be in there. But um, I'm game stacking and then looking for those guys that have the huge ceilings. I do like a nice floor, but I want a ceiling with my GPP guys. I just don't know that Crowder's got it. And I'm just saying specifically against his teammate Anderson, I'd rather play. Okay, Mahomes inactive. Here we go. They're starting to roll in. Let's go ahead and go back over here. Inactives. Oh, Kenny Stills questionable to return. I see that. Thielen is expected to play. James Conner. Let's see. We'll throw those in there for now. I like Deshaun Jackson as a play too. Go ahead and add those in there. Anderson can beat anybody. What's going on in this game? Anything interesting? 12-3. Whoa. Nothing interesting. Remember when those London games used to be high scoring? 2019 has ruined that. Gotcha. Any more questions, guys? If not, I'm going to go work on my lineups. Now that we've got some of these inactives coming in, there hasn't been a lot. We don't have a lot of guys out. We know. I did forget to add one guy on here. Chris Herndon is active. Chris Herndon is active. Oh, wait a second here. This is confusing. Okay. Chris Herndon is active, but based on what Gase said this week, I wouldn't expect him to play a lot, maybe not at all. So, do with that as you will. We'll add that potentially limited caveat there. Yeah, this just it's confusing. I this is rough when they say that a guy's active but he may not play at all. Like David Johnson a few weeks ago. 3 snaps, then nothing. And nothing since. I was going to say what Kenyon Drake did the other day. David Johnson has done once in his past 30 games with the what was it? Let me find what I posted here. Give me 1 second. I will find that. My boy. No. Duke Johnson. Here we go. Let me get into here. Okay, David Johnson has one game of rushing for 100 yards since 2016, November 27th. That's 30 games. 2 of those he only had one touch in, though, so 28 games that he had more than one carry. He did that last year on November 18th. He has only had 162 total yards in one of his last 23 games. The Chiefs on November 11th of last year. And he has only scored 28.2 fantasy points or more 2 times. Just a few weeks ago on October 13th, he had 28.2, and on 11/11 of 2018, he had 37.3 against the Chiefs over his last 23 games. That's all stuff that Drake did in his first game, and he did that against the 49ers. And now that might be saying more about how David Johnson isn't the guy that we think he is. There was a hole I could have drove my car through, didn't see which running back, and just thought, oh, let's either make Ricky happy or piss him off. See, but that's fine, because, Duke still got the better day, fantasy-wise. Almost a 20-point day for Duke. 7.3, 11.8. Yeah, right there, 18 point something. All right, fellas. If we don't have any more questions, you can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook group, and ask any questions if you come up with any. But if that's it, I'm going to call it a morning, and I'm going to get my lineups ready for today. But I'll give you guys just a couple minutes. Appreciate you guys coming out this morning. I know I don't like streaming when the games are on. Obviously, people watching football. Fant or Ebron? Ebron's a safe play. Fant's work went up big time last week with Emmanuel Sanders out of town. So Fant would be if I need the ceiling. Ebron is my safety play if I feel like I'm in a good spot. So that's how I would treat those. Fant's one of my favorite DFS plays this week. Deshaun Jackson is making his return versus the Chicago Bears today. I don't know how much. I know that he said he's not going to be 100% at all this year. But I love number 2 wide receivers against Chicago. So it's something to be interested about in GPPs. I don't know if I start him in regular fantasy unless I have no other options. What does Indianapolis's linebackers have to do with Ebron or Fant? I think you are a little confused there, Paulie. Fant plays Cleveland. Yeah, I figured you were confused because you even talked about Leonard, which is obviously a Colt, but I'm like, he's not going to be guarding Ebron or Fant. I think Fant has a huge ceiling. His work has been there. It's going to convert at some point into a big day. So, all right, fellas, I'm going to call it a stream. I appreciate you guys coming out. If anything comes up, if you have any questions, you can hit me up on Twitter at RotoHeatRick or in the Facebook group. You know where to find me. What does Brandon Allen have to do with Ebron? Don't forget, make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any more fantasy football content from the RotoHeat.com team. Also, right there, playlist. Hit it. Watch the videos. Do it. You want to. Do it.